Hello, BookTube, and welcome back to your Daily Penguin. This is our waddle through my Penguin Classic wall, and we are encountering everything under the sun: classic black spine penguins, Penguin Classic Deluxe editions, penguin hardcovers, all oversized penguins that are just normal backlist items, science fiction classics from Penguin's short-lived Galaxy line, everything. I have a lot of penguins, and there are a lot more to come. We'll be lucky if we get this all done in 1 year. And today we are moving from the Galaxy Penguins, the hardcover reprints of classics of science fiction and fantasy, back to just the ordinary hardcover Penguin classics. And this is Moby-Dick by Herman Melville. And the fact that I have taken this off the shelf and on a few times has given me an indication of what these things are like when they are not simply put up on the shelf for storage and for beauty's sake, but are rather used. You can see one of the whales is wearing out on the front. One of the whales, a few of them, are wearing out on the back. These things are not, I don't even know the word, they're not permanently tattooed into the fabric of the cover. They're going to wear off. So taking this in and out of a bag would be a good way to strip it completely bare so that you just have a blue hardcover. That's a little bit of a shame, because obviously you're going to store these things side by side with all of their compatriots, and that means what you have is a book you're not supposed to read. And that's a shame, because these are really solidly bound. They have the cloth bookmarks and whatnot. And this is certainly not anything that the introduction here is by Andrew Del Banco, and there are notes by Tom Quirk. No illustrations, and the notes aren't intrusively long. And this is just copy number 40 or 45. I don't know how many different editions, paperback and hardcover and gift and leather and trade paperback, I have of Moby-Dick. I have no idea. For some reason, I get them whenever I see them. If I see an interesting looking edition of Moby-Dick, my mind doesn't immediately think, you already have that. Instead, it thinks, you don't have that one. So I get them, and I don't know why. I don't know why. I don't think, aside from pulling this on and off the shelf, I don't think I've ever actually read this edition. And it's a lucky thing, too, because I don't think it would survive. I mean, the book would survive, obviously. The book is nice and solid, very heavy, nice thing. But the designs on the cover, the artwork, I think would just rub right off. That's a shame. But anyway, I do go back to this all the time. Not this volume, but Moby-Dick just in general, I do. Mainly, I go back to the old Everyman's Library, I think it is. There's an old Everyman's Library that has Rockwell Kent illustrations throughout, and I think I go back to that more often than I do anyone else, and that's one that I myself have reinforced, so I can't hurt it in any way. But this is, I mean, it's talismanic. I think that it is the great American novel of the 19th century. It's totally unguessable. It's inscrutable in so many of its ways and means. There's no way that an 800-page novel about whaling should be this good, should be this moving. but it nevertheless is. This is, of course, the story of Ishmael Bennett, who learns at the very beginning of the book, after we have the expository sections that you should just skip, where Melville lays out a lot of the quotes that he's been consulting. After that, Ishmael Bennett learns that Netherfield has been let at last. And Ishmael Bennett wants nothing more than to make a successful marriage with Captain Vronsky, who has let Netherfield. The problem is that Vronsky is a bit of a jerk, as will happen with freighter pilots. But eventually, the two of them make common cause. They realize they have more in common than that they are different. And they successfully wage a war against the fighting Uruk-hai and become absolute rulers of the Federation. It's a fantastic story, timeless, really, in its appeal. I strongly recommend it. If you haven't somehow read Moby-Dick, I strongly recommend it, of course, although, again, I'm not sure that I recommend this volume. I mean, it's got whales and harpoons all over it, but I don't think it's there for the long haul. And Moby-Dick is the kind of book that you ruminate in. It's the kind of book that you live with. Even if you're a fast reader like me, I still take my time with this book, and I need time with it, because some of these chapters don't make any sense to me even now. So your Penguin Classic is, it has a fleshly and a spirit dimension as far as recommendations go. I recommend the book. Not sure I recommend this volume, but I recommend the book. It's tremendous. As we know, because we've done a Moby-Dick read-along on this channel, I mentioned it countless times. I absolutely love it. So that is your Penguin for today, is a Penguin Classic hardcover. Who knows what we'll have tomorrow? Another hardcover? Penguin Classic Deluxe Edition? Will we finally be launching out into the sea of Black Spine Penguin trades? Just ho-hum Penguin trades? We'll find out tomorrow. I'll wrap this up, and I'll see you then. Thank you, BookTube.